Another stack show coming your way on Golden State Warriors today. I'm Chase Sr. Thanks you so much for joining us. On the docket for today's show, Steph Curry talking about the potential split of this core that's lifted this franchise to 4 NBA championships, and Andrew Wiggins finally speaks. Before we get started, take a look at the sub numbers here to my right. All of you in Dub Nation have really helped us out. Last week, we were more than 1,400 subscribers behind the Lakers report on this competition to 50,000 subscribers. And now, I think that we can get there. The big question, can we get there with this video? Now, I'm leaving for Key West on Friday, and by the time that I depart, I would love, and I mean absolutely love, to see Golden State Warriors today sitting pretty at 50,000 subscribers and taking down the Lakers report on that chase. So please subscribe. And for those of you new to the channel, we give you Warriors content year-round, multiple shows every single week. And once the playoffs come around, NBA playoff watch parties. All right, Andrew Wiggins speaking. Missed more than 20 games for the Golden State Warriors. Unfortunately for him, dealing with the crisis within his family, his father falling ill. And Andrew Wiggins talked to reporters for the first time since leaving the Warriors. Here's a couple of things that he did have to say. Great to see Wiggins back. Hopefully he's in a good headspace and he can do some special things for his family here and make them proud. I don't think it will be too long before I am out there. I felt really good right before I left. I felt like I was in a rhythm. I was making shots, moving well. Hopefully, I'll be right back where I left off. And obviously, if Andrew Wiggins is able to be where he was before he left off, best case scenario for the Golden State Warriors. They need him in this playoff rotation. He was knocking down about 40% of his three-point shots. He always gives you top-tier defense as well against some of the top wing offensive players in the NBA. And when it comes playoff time and the game slows down a little bit, you need preeminent defenders like Andrew Wiggins. Here's what Steve Kerr had to say about his newly minted on that contract player who's finally back with the Dubs after landing that big contract extension last offseason. We'll have a better idea in the next couple of days. There's no way he's playing in the next few days, I can tell you that. But I think once we have an assessment over the next couple of days, we'll have a better idea of when he might be able to play. We've missed him for the past couple of months, obviously on the court, but just his presence in the locker room as well as in the training room. He's got a very calming presence in general. Everyone loves Andrew, and just having him back is fantastic. And I've talked about this a couple of times here. This is why the Warriors need Andrew Wiggins. And look, the Dallas Mavericks, great example right now of why culture matters. And the Golden State Warriors, a great example of why culture matters. Steph Curry is the most selfless superstar of all time. You have Draymond Green holding people accountable. Klay Thompson, great spirit. Bob Myers, Steve Kerr, great at their respective jobs. And for Steve Kerr to say that about Andrew Wiggins, that's why it's important to have him back on top of all of these things here to my right. On the floor, Andrew Wiggins, a high-level defender. Great two-way ability. Helps the switch and hedge game. He's a three-level scorer who can really get a bucket from anywhere and stop multiple positions on the defensive end of the floor. And that three-point shot, Warriors have missed that production 39.4% on nearly 6 attempts from downtown over the last 2 years. More from Wiggins on his absence. When you're in a certain situation and your family needs you and requires your attention and love, that's my first priority. My career, everything, family, always first for me. When I felt like I was in a safe space to come back, we got everything settled, not totally settled, but in a safe place where I can come back. And for Wiggins, good awareness by him. And honestly, for him to take a stranglehold of this, it's really important because his mental health, very important. Because look, if his mental health is not in a position where it should be, then his play will suffer, then the team will suffer, and at the end of the day, that impacts the Golden State Warriors. So hopefully he's able to turn the corner, get back on the right track. And for everybody talking about those ridiculous rumors on the internet, that's why the internet, Twitter, social media, an absolute cesspool, because all those things never ended up being true. That's why we never talked about them or speculated here on the show. We went by the facts here. So show Wiggins some love here. Type his jersey number down in the comment section. It's that 2222. And obviously it's great to have him back. Coming up next on the show, are the Warriors going to keep the band together? Steph Curry talking about keeping this core together and maybe the breaking up of that core. We'll get to that. Stay tuned for that. But first, Warriors jerseys on sale right now. A couple of different styles. If you utilize that link right below me, chatsports.com/Warriors jersey. The City Edition jerseys, which are awesome. The Jordan print, fantastic. And of course, the standard jerseys available as well. You have the trademark blue, white jerseys, everything you really want. Multiple players, of course, as well. Using that link down below, chatsports.com/Warriors jersey. Are the Warriors going to keep the band together? Let's hope so, because again, going back to those comments earlier, a championship culture, very, very important, and culture does matter when it comes to stacking up wins and winning NBA championships. And if the Warriors win another championship this year, how do you break this core apart? You can't have it like the last dance with the Chicago Bulls. Keep running it back, but of course you have to pay for that, and we'll see what happens with Bob Myers as well. Here's what Steph Curry had to say. I think we can all acknowledge and keep it real that had we not won a championship last year, then those questions would have been a lot more every day, I guess. But when you prove that you can win, then you can kind of hold off the dogs in terms of how hard it is to do what we've done and keep this together for as long as we've had. And for the Warriors, one of the best, most impressive, most successful all-time runs as far as a franchise goes in the history of the NBA. 4 NBA championships, but also all of those finals appearances. Steph Curry, more from him. I still feel like we can't keep everyone together. Obviously, we understand how important Bob Myers is. We understand how important Coach Steve Kerr is. Our core, Draymond, Klay Thompson, myself, Andre Iguodala, even though he's had a rough year with injuries and whatnot, he's been extremely valuable behind the scenes in helping to maintain our culture. And I love what Steph Curry had to say there about maintaining the culture. It goes to show you that it matters. And it backs up everything that I said about how great culture can lead to championships. And that is what has happened for the Golden State Warriors. So keeping Bob Myers certainly key here. I think he's the best basketball executive in the NBA. Identifying Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, the trade for Andrew Wiggins, some of the deals that he's made. James Wiseman, a little bit of a miss, but shoot, you have Jonathan Kuminga, who I think can be a stud in this league, and some of the savvy moves that he's pulled off and the basketball evaluation that he brings to the table. Very, very difficult to find guys like that. And that's why a lot of organizations have been down in the dumps for a really long time, because they have that lack of continuity, no structure, no culture, no foundation. They have the instability as far as the general manager goes, a guy who can't identify good players. Bob Myers, the complete opposite, the antithesis of dysfunction. So who's the safest player on the roster not named Steph Curry? I think it's Klay Thompson for me personally, just because of that big contract, but shout out to Klay, man. He's been cooking this year coming off those really bad injuries. More from Steph. For us to be the champions and to have to take everybody's best shot all year, some self-inflicted wounds that we've had, games we should have won, with all that said, absolutely we can make a title run this year. I feel like we are a team that's a force, and when we're locked in, on the specific test of trying to beat a team 4 times in a playoff series, obviously we need to get there and finish this year strong and hopefully stay out of the play-in tournament. That remains the same. And look, you look at the Western Conference here, it's wide open. In a 7-game series, can the Warriors beat the Denver Nuggets? Can the Warriors beat the Grizzlies even though they struggled against Memphis in the regular season? Playoff basketball, completely different. Can they beat the Sacramento Kings? Can they take down the Phoenix Suns? Can they compete against the Los Angeles Clippers, the Los Angeles Lakers, the New Orleans Pelicans, Timberwolves, Thunder? Yes, I do believe that's the case. And look, for a Sacramento Kings team that's had their best individual season in 2 decades, finally ending that playoff drought, how do they get to celebrate making it into the playoffs? They take on the defending world champion Golden State Warriors, and for a team that is stacked with playoff inexperience, they go up against a team with loads of playoff experience, who has 4 championships underneath their belt, and I'm going with Golden State, if that is that series, to win that game and win that series against Sacramento. So what do you think? Last question before we hop on out of here. Can the Warriors win the NBA Finals? Why for yes and for no? And we had a couple of people who were real ones down in the comment section who commented a lot. Eclipse with 124. Basketball Highlights with 117. Lake Tunstill with 111, and Dylan Lane with 102. Thanks for being a real one, supporting the show, being a part of the show, and we'll catch you next time here on Warriors Today.